Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a little bit more work on Honey Bear's little dress. Yesterday we had a fitting, Honey Bear and we had a good look at these sleeves, and she really wants the puffiness. I'm not convinced. I think it's bulk that she doesn't need. I don't know if it's very flattering, but at the moment she wins because she really wants to pull that in to create a puffy little sleeve, and then some trimmings or things can go on around that sleeve. So at the moment we're not going to alter it. So I thought, fair enough, all right, Honey Bear, you get what you want. Then I noticed that this pocket could be stitched down, so I started stitching, and I'm not sure what I'm really going to do today. I'm thinking I could play with some more lace, to be honest. The other thing is, when I finished the video, I went hunting for that loopy trim that I mentioned, and this is it here. So this could be used to attach buttons to the back of Honey Bear's dress, but let me just finish this. I'm so close to just getting this stitched down. I don't think it'll work, that trim, because they are so close together. I think it would be quite a challenge to find buttons to suit. So I'm not sure exactly what Grandma would have used it for. Maybe hooks, and they're tiny. Hooks and eyes, I'm not sure. I think it come from Grandma. Maybe it was something in a pack. Oh, I don't know. Things are merging together. All these laces, once you start working with them, they all get mixed up on your desk, and then you tidy up, and yeah, like I'm never going to keep it straight. All right, so I'm just going to put a few extra stitches at that top corner because that's like a pressure point for the pocket. I've chosen just to do normal cotton and just stitch the little pocket on. I could come back at a later date and do more of a decorative finish to the pocket, but at the moment it's just attached. I want to get rid of those pins that are there so that side is secure. And when I did it, I made sure that I could access here with something and then stitch all this on and then attach it down. So I've got wriggle room, but I did want to get that stitched. Now let's have a look at this trim. See, in my head this was further apart, these little loops. Look how close they are. So that would get stitched on, and I pictured buttons in a row, but by hang, they would be little buttons, so I don't think I want to go to that degree. Now I could separate them and just take one little loop and stitch it on. I think that's the way I would want to proceed, and then I could sort of space it out a little bit depending on, you know, the buttons that we found. So what I might do, I'm pretty confident we can get away with one button. So let's just trim this and let's stitch on one and see if that actually works. Because I would say that a seamstress, a wedding dress maker, would want to know that this was flexible, because they might want quite big pearly buttons. So I'd say that that product is designed to be separated. So I'm just going to put that under there and stitch it on. You can always take it off. Oh, this pin needle. I'm thinking about that other side to the pocket, about making a little lacy cluster and attaching that to the other pocket. Oh, don't fall apart. I need a finer needle. This is such a crowbar. I need Reginald. Where are you, son? That fine needle to pierce through all of that lace without sort of pushing it around too much. I need a nice sharp needle. Where did it go? I'll have to go searching through my buttons and see if I've got a pearl button on a shank so that this fastener actually works. Take my time. Let's get this neat. I need that tucked in there. Really tests you when you start doing these unusual projects, doesn't it? You've got to think about the engineering of things. I guess if we were seamstresses, we'd know all these little tricks. But we're not. You learn a few things when you're at school. Well, maybe. Depends on your teachers. And then you pick up a few things. Google or YouTube is your friend, but sometimes it can be hard to really find something that is exactly what you want to know. Oops, I've gone around that. Take my time. Like I'm feeling like that's nice and secure, but I will turn it around. So now we've got a little loop at the top of her neckline. And I guess if I find some really neat buttons, I could really go to town. If this works, like it's going to get a bit of tugging on it. If this works, I could put a few more buttons on, but we'll see. Let's just have a little test run here. I know once I get the little dress on her, it's not exactly going to be coming off daily. If this was a teddy that was still very much in use by a little person, this probably would not be a good idea. You'd want something a little bit more secure. But I think I might just do Honey Bear in her later years, in her twilight years. All right, I think that's enough of that little nasty needle. I need to see the big guy. I think I've got that. Yeah, a couple more stitches. Can't hurt, can it? I just don't trust fasteners. You do not want them pulling out or popping. Could you imagine doing a wedding dress and the fasteners gave way? It'd be, oh goodness, the stress of it. That side there doesn't feel as secure as the other side, so I'm going to put a couple extra stitches. I'm sure there's wedding dress files out there where the worst happens and there's a malfunction on the clothing. There we go. I think that's going to do our honey bear. And we could easily put number 2 and number 3 there. It'll all come down to the buttons. If I can find 3 little buttons that suit, I will keep this in Honey Bear's little treasury box. And we'll come back to that another time. So what I'm thinking is I want to do a little bit more with lace. I want to do something here. I want to collage something. I'm just grabbing this lace because it really suits this whole look. And I'd love for her to have a little bit of this. could sneak it across to that other pocket, couldn't we? Yeah, let's do that. I like that there. That's sort of dictating the whole placement of this. That, I'm going to separate it. I feel confident that that will work. And we can get a pretty piece of lace here. Do we include, do we bring it over a little bit more? No, we can't cover the monogram. But we would be able to get that flower on, I think. Let's just, because there's quite a net. Do we get rid of that piece there? No, I'm going to take it for now. Okay, we've detached. Oops, no we haven't. What happened there? There we go. Now we've detached. Let's just have a little look. I could have the lace coming down onto the skirt. That would work. That'd be tricky stitching. Where's my pins? Yeah, that little flower will work. That's a little straggle there. That might need to go. So if I pin that onto there, that onto there, might leave that little wispy bit go up into the air there. I like how it, oh, those dogs. They're woofing at the neighbour's puppy. Well, the puppy is woofing, they're woofing, everyone's woofing. They're all excited. There's a fence between them, so they're like, can't get to each other, but boy, they get excited when they greet each other in the morning. Must be so much to say. So I'm going to try and keep, this is going to be tricky. Now, a smart embroiderer would have created this piece away from the dress, but no, the girl can't wait. She's bolted ahead, but I think I can adjust accordingly. I've got access to the back, so I can, here they come. They've heard my husband in the kitchen, so they're like, gotta go. Okay. I don't know if I will leave that piece. I feel like it does need to go, but we'll see. Maybe we drift the lace down a little bit. Maybe. So let's just put a few little stitches. We'll just play and see what happens. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at this outer edge where I can at least get my fingers in. Is my phone on silent? I have a feeling the phone might ring. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to do little stitches through to tack that down. I think the more the better, otherwise it'll pucker. Yeah, that's good. So what have you all got planned for the day? I don't have any major plans. Well, not yet. Nothing comes to mind. Maybe I just haven't woken up enough to know what I'm meant to be doing today. Oh, I know what I'm meant to be doing. My windshield. I mentioned this probably 3 weeks ago, that our windscreen, in America you call it a windshield, as I had actually someone ask me what the hang is a windscreen. In Australia, the windscreens. In America, I believe you call them windshields. On one of my recent trips in the work van, a rock came up and hit the screen and created a star. It's very pretty. A star-like crack, like a circular hit where the impact was. So we called the insurance company, and it's got a pretty good excess on it, so it was only a couple $100, and we could get a brand new piece of glass put in, which you'd have to do because it's damaged. You don't want it getting any bigger and suddenly you've got cracks everywhere. So long story short, in a previous video when we were discussing all this, I think I was probably heading later that day to drop the van off with my husband, and they would pop it out and replace it. So, when you get these phone calls on your phone but you don't know who it is, it's like a no caller ID. Well, I was having a couple of those and I didn't answer them because they're usually a scammer wanting to, carry on. Apparently it was the windscreen company. They had received the new windscreen ready for the installation, and it was the wrong one. So they had tried to call me, well, probably only once. I can only really remember one call. So we've driven all the way over there, got to the car park, and this lovely young lady comes running out and saying, "Oh, we've been trying to call you. The glass is wrong. We've had to send it back and get another one. We cannot fit your windscreen today." So we drove all the way back home, and it all had to be rescheduled. And because it's an insurance thing, it's not just talk to them straight away. It's got to go through some help desk in another city. So by the time all of the ducks were lined back up, today is the day. So they haven't called to say there's a problem, so we will trundle over there and hope that our windscreen can actually be fitted. So that's my day so far. And gosh, I had technically forgotten about it, which is not good, but it's all good. And today, Honey Bear is going to get a little bit more work on her little dress. So I hope you're all stitching away. What a great prompt this lace has been. I've really enjoyed it. Now, I'm not going to sit here for an hour and do this, but I think you got the general gist of invisible stitching down this gorgeous piece of lace. What I'm thinking is we need some fabric. So I'm going to grab the box that has Honey Bear's bits and bobs in it and see if there's something we can do, maybe down the bottom, kind of coming down onto this hemline. So we'll assume that that pocket gets attached. Maybe we can do something else. All right, where's the box of tricks? Honey Bear. There's all sorts in here that was packed ready for the project, and I haven't even looked in here. So there's threads, some wool, plenty of cottons. Oh, we've got to do something. Diamantes, and below is the fabric. So let's have a look at this fabric. Now we're doing blues, aren't we? And neutrals. I wonder if there's something in this that could be embroidered. Nothing inspiring me. I think there's cherubs on one of these, isn't there? Oh, honey bear. Would you like a cherub? Do I want a cherub? Can't decide about cherubs. I don't know if I like cherubs. Don't know if Honey Bear likes cherubs. So where's some more blues? What have we got down here? The way I'm going, I'm not actually using much of this fabric, am I? So beautiful. More cherubs. Maybe I've got to go further afoot and find a bit of a feature piece that suits. What have we got in the lace department that's let's have a little rummage through that. Maybe there's something. I don't know. Nothing's coming to me. How is that possible? Here's a bit. That bit could have a home. To what benefit is that bit? I feel like I need, I don't know. What do I need? I feel like I need a feature. I could do a cluster, like where you just layer, you know, bits and pieces together and build a random thing. But I feel like I need something a little bit more special than that. Maybe we do some doilies. I wonder if I could find a doily. A small, I got plenty of doily bits. I think I need to, here's my doily bits. Maybe I need to go through my doilies and find, I don't really want to use a doily bit, or do I? Maybe I do. They're sort of the right size, aren't they? For her. I still need a feature. I feel like I need a feature. Okay, guys. I probably need to go hunting a little bit. I either find a piece of fabric that I can do something tricky to, or I find a doily that already has something and I embellish and move forward with it, or I do a cluster. I'm a little bit unsure how to proceed. I think what I might do is I'll stop the camera. I'm going to stitch all this down, finish this pocket off, and then come back with maybe a plan for the rest of it. I've still got time in the video. Maybe something will come to life. Maybe I can find a nice flower. I don't know. Okay, let's just pause the video. I'll finish stitching this because that's boring, and we will come back with something here, or at least something somewhere. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I will see you in a few seconds. And that gives me a bit of time to have a bit of a think about what else I can do. All right, see you in a moment. Hello, everyone. I'm back. Okay, about 2 hours has gone by, and I found nothing. Nothing inspired me. Nothing spoke to me. So I sat down and I stitched this lace on, and I come to the decision of don't do anything if you can't think of anything to do. So I think I will, I'm just tidying up here a little bit so I can move, because it just exploded in here with bits and pieces because I went hunting for something to do here. I got a few ideas, but I don't know. I just feel like something's telling me just to stop. I've met the brief. I've got a piece of treasured lace, and we've got our lace collar. So I decided just stop. Just stop. So I stitched that down, and now I'm just going to carry on stitching the rest of this pocket together. So the principle was to leave it open so that I could get in there behind and stitch decorative elements on, which I've now done with that lace. So I'm just going to finish it and attach it and leave it at that. You know, when something doesn't come together, sometimes it pays just to walk away from it. It's not like I don't have plenty of work that I can, you know, go on with here. So that's the plan. So I'm just doing a little slip stitch. This really is in place to protect stitching that may be there that something gets caught on. That was the theory behind putting this little lining in place, and I'm just sort of slip stitching it to the back of the fabric. I'd sort of envisioned I don't know, a booklet or, oh, who knows, may not be anything, just depends. It might be, could be a letter, don't know. And if it was sliding into the pocket, it might catch on all my stitching behind. So, and being that it was one piece of fabric, I've got 2 pockets. And I would have this lining and attach it so it's nice and safe, all the stitching. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this video. I'm just going to take a breath and get this next stage done. So I might turn that under, so it's just enough. Finger press it. Where's the pins? Pins. Just hold that there until I get there. And then I'm just going to slip stitch around here. I sort of feel like there'll be plenty of prompts coming too, so something may focus me for that corner or not, you know, who knows. It's one of those projects that it'd be very easy to get ahead and carry on collaging and adding and stitching, and then you realise you've just got no room left. So I think if that's you and you're finding, oh, it's done, start another one, because these are quite quick, simple little additive pieces. I don't know if that's the right word, but start another one. You've got a perfect opportunity, because it's only early in the piece, to pull out another selection of fabrics and give yourself a theme and focus on that. You might do, if your first one is generic and it's treasures, you might decide that you could do sewing treasures next. Wedding dress, wedding treasures, like there's so many possibilities. Family treasures. So if you think you can't handle 2, I think you might with this project, because we've got time to enjoy the prompts and think about them, but they may not be always, you know, full on pieces of work needing to be done. So you could do 2. Now I'm just going to stop there. I need to have a little think about what's happening with this fabric. How much of a turned up edge do I need? I need at least that. So that looks good. Okay, we're right. And I know this pocket of mine here probably seems a bit cack-handed how I've approached it, but I think we're going to find that with this project, that we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants, for want of a better description, trying to make these elements all work together. So that's what I'm sort of thinking. I've got, as for videos, I've got a few more random videos that'll pop up for the next few days, and then I will get onto my mannequin. And I haven't done a lot with it, but I have been throwing pieces that sort of inspire me over in that direction. So there's all sorts of things draping off of that mannequin. So once I get a chance to catch my breath and get a few more of these random videos done, the stitchery swap and also the squishy bag is coming to the end of its project. And I am doing a random piece that just because I felt like stitching, well, that's turning into a small mini series like it does. So there will be a few days of videos. Oh, I did a little bit more shopping with Bitten by the Bug as well. Got a little top up of some beautiful Japanese fabrics. So I've got a fabric review coming up that's filmed and scheduled. So as soon as we get through all of that stuff, I will be spending a bit of time on our mannequin piece and exploring treasured lace, which I do know what I'm going to add. So that should all come together really well. Honey Bear's had a little bit of attention, so she's looking good. And I've made it back to where I need to be. So what I need to do next is I need to stitch down this seam so that it divides the 2 pockets. So I might do that next. So more cotton. And I can also stitch the bottom and side because our little lining's there now, so the pocket's nice and neat, bar that slow stitch. I guess too I need to, are we going to put any more fabrics on it? No, leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it. So there we go. That's where it'll lay. The back's nice and flat. Let's get a couple little pins in there. So now it's about stitching the pocket on. I haven't trimmed that little bit of lace off here. Not going to at this stage. I'm just going to leave it. It's not bothering me. So I need to do this center seam first. Oh, come on. Gee, that old linen is thick. Come on. It's either that or my pin's nasty. There we go. And I'll get to that edge out there in a moment. Let's get this seam stitched to divide the 2 pockets. So how's that feel there? Okay, so we could do with a couple little stitches here to take a bit of pressure off this corner. So let's do that first. So let me know in the comments below what your project is starting to look like. Is it a book? Is it a panel? Are you doing a honey bear, like giving a doll a makeover, a treasured doll? I know a few are doing sewing boxes. Some old sewing boxes are getting a makeover, which is a lovely idea too. So I'm just trying to stay in the seam there. I'm just working my way up. Oh, it's so strong. Oh, look, there's some layers happening here. You'll notice I'm wearing my protective wear. Oh, I just got to just save so many little slips of the needle. Especially when you do a lot of stitching, it's bound to happen, so it's best you just do it right. Where's my... Gee, this is awkward. My hand in there. I'm being precious to the monogram, but it's nice and secure. It's not like it's going to come. Undone. I'm worried I'm going to break my needle. This is really dense in there. Take my time. Should be right. I suppose it's a few layers where they've joined two of the pieces of fabric together. As I was saying in one other video, oh, that's going to break that needle. If you've got a piece of this old linen from back in the day and it is stitched together, Nikki Franklin was telling me this. She's the English embroidery lady that I met at the retreat that I went to. If two pieces are stitched together with that hand stitch, that slip stitch, it means that it's pretty old because the looms that made it were narrow. But as time has gone on through history, the looms became a lot bigger, so therefore they could get a really nice big piece of fabric made without having to do that stitching. I thought, oh, there you go. So you know you've got an old one if you've got some hand-stitched pieces in your pack of fabric that you may have found from a reseller of old fabrics. So I'm going to end that off. I guess if I was smart, I could have started at the top of the pocket, stitched down, and then I'd be ready to do the bottom and the side, but didn't do it. Didn't think of that. Okay, so let's just take a moment to reposition. Let's get rid of this bulk. Make sure that that's sitting. That's pretty good. Not quite to the side seam, which is good. Might just put a pin in there. That feels flat. So what I might do, I'll get a bigger piece of cotton. That one's a bit short. Now I'm just going to do that little slip stitch around the outer edge like I did over here, connecting the pocket to the little dress, which I'm sure you can see and figure out. So I'm sorry this is not as riveting as normal. I have got some maintenance work to do here before we charge on forward with another plan. Sometimes you just got to stop and do a little bit of the boring stuff. So let's get this little pocket really secure at this top edge because that's a stress point. So a few extra stitches. That's not going to go anywhere. Then I'll just scoot scoot down this edge. It's not like it's a child's dress anyway, and there's little hands going in and out of a pocket. Since doing that collar at the top there and having that little space for potentially a cute little brooch or something, I have been searching the internet for all sorts of jewellery. Haven't found anything just perfect. I had this brooch when I was a little girl, and I just can't get it out of my mind. I don't have it anymore because unfortunately I've had a few house break-ins over the years, and I believe it is gone. I haven't thought of it for ages. You know, when you lose a heap of jewellery, hopefully you haven't experienced it, but when you do, you never ever remember what is gone. But then one day you'll think about a piece, or you'll go to get a piece and you realise it's not there. Like, for example, there was a shell necklace that I used to wear a lot as a kid. It would have been just a trinket bought at, I think, Magnetic Island when we went there as a family. I was only little, but I loved it. I thought it was a pale pink, and it was like little chips of shell that were all lined up like to create like nearly a tube of shell. Not shells as you would think when I said it, like little circles, chips. I used to wear that thing, and it was as tough as anything because the latch on it actually screwed together. So for a young girl, a farm girl, a tomboy girl, it was perfect. I could wear that little necklace and it just never broke. I know that went in the first robbery. And I think, now that I'm thinking about little brooches, I bet that little butterfly brooch, it was the prettiest thing. It was probably about that big. And the, you know when they put paint onto jewellery and they bake it? There's a name for it, but it eludes me. They bake it and it goes really, really pearlized and bright and just beautiful. Well, it had that finish. So it had quite a lot of detail. There were little spots on its wings, and it had some little gems going down the centre of it. It was so cute, and I used to wear it to church every Sunday when I was a little girl. It was part of my little outfit. I soon grew out of it, but I would often pick it up and just, I don't know, look at it. So pretty. I think it is gone. I'm pretty sure it's gone. I do need to have a good rummage, but yeah. I think she's gone. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. Maybe that little butterfly has found its new home. Maybe the thief has a girlfriend or wife with a little girl, and that butterfly has found a new little girl, even though it's left my hands in a very distressing way. You never know. Maybe there's a little girl out there that has acquired a little butterfly from her thieving father and is loving it as much as I did. We will let that butterfly go. I'm a big girl now. I don't need a butterfly brooch, but you know what I mean, don't you? I'll leave this straggly little bit here because that doesn't look right, but I'm going to leave it because I think it might either stay or go. I like how it's drifting down onto the little dress. It sort of breaks up the lines. Maybe the next prompt will allow me to build back up into it and around the back. Who knows? Who knows what those girls have got planned for us? How exciting is it? Very exciting. I'm looking forward to getting onto that mannequin piece. It's been pinned and sitting there looking at me. And I want to take that panel, that cross-stitch panel off the mannequin. I'll put a piece of fabric behind it to stabilize it, so just some calico, and I think that piece will actually become a skirt, like the base of the skirt, which then can be reattached to the mannequin down the track, but it'll give me a panel to work on. I think that's how it's going to go. You know me, good change. We like a bit of wriggle room, don't we? Okay, coming up to the seam, the edge. So Honey Bear has her lace. She got 2 pieces, lucky girl. She has now got her pocket attached to her little pinafore. We have discussed great length her puffy sleeves, and at this stage they're staying because she wants puffy sleeves. Heaven forbid the girl wants puffy sleeves. But we'll see. We're still on the hunt for a little brooch for Honey Bear. We'll find something. That's part of my little treasure hunt. So, and we've got our little loop in there ready, so we need to find Honey Bear a nice little pearl button that will secure her little neck area. Then I'll probably do a little bit of decorative work through here. We'll see. We'll see how it sort of comes together. Whoops. So Honey Bear now has her pocket. She's got 2 little pockets. How cute. All right. Thank you everyone for joining me. It was a bit of a lackluster video, but we did get a few things done, and I'm happy that Honey Bear's little dress now can be put aside, and I'm ready to work on the next piece and wait for the next prompt. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.